Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 3. Now, of course, we know that Superman and Lois does not premiere its third season until March 14th, so pretty much right smack bang in the middle of March, alongside the new DCTV show of Gotham Knights. They'll be on the same night, Superman and Lois first, and then Gotham Knights afterwards. So yeah, we're still like, 3 months away pretty much, or actually just under 3 months away. Now, due to it being, still under or just under 3 months away, it would be a surprise if we did get, any trailers, promos, or just any major promotional stuff until about, I don't know, like a month before the show comes back. Maybe a poster for the new season could come out a bit earlier, but in regards to a trailer and stuff, the standard CW procedure is a month before the show comes back, though the Flash promo that came out recently sort of broke that trend. They came out like, 2.5 months until the show comes back. So maybe Superman and Lois does the same thing. We might get a trailer in January. I don't know. But if it does follow the trend where, it comes about a month, out about a month before the show comes back, that'll be around the time that the Flash premieres its 9th and final season. So whenever the Flash is about to come back, that's when you could expect at least specifically a trailer for Superman and Lois Season 3, but just more consistent promo releases like that to start coming out. And then those will start playing during ad breaks for The Flash and also other shows airing around that time up until the premiere around the middle of March. But though we are still a decent way away, that might be the best term to use, from the Season 3 premiere for Superman and Lois, we did get something released recently, hopefully over the past day or so from when this video will come out, and this has to do with the opening 4 episodes of Season 3, and as you would get from the title of this video, that has to do with the title for those episodes. But of course, in the comment section down below, let me know your various opinions on this, any thoughts and theories, predictions. Very curious to hear what you guys have to say, especially about a couple of them. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down there. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show support, looking forward to the new season of Superman and Lois, want to drop a like on the video to show all that. So firstly, we'll just read out the episode titles just to get them out. And then we'll I've only really written notes for 2 of them because they're the only 2 I could really go, okay, this is what it's hinting at. And the other 2, I'm just like, either they're just self-explanatory or I'm not too sure. So it's bit of a mixed bag, but we'll read them out and then we'll go over them individually. So episode 1 of season 3 is called Closer, which we already knew. That was already known. That was already out there. So really only episodes 2, 3, and 4 were revealed today, but we knew episode 1's title after Bitsy Tulloch, who plays Lois, took like a mirror selfie thing, and you could see the title of the episode in the reflection, and it said Closer. So everyone knew Closer was already the title. So episode 1 is Closer. Episode 2 is Uncontrollable Forces. Episode 3 is In Cold Blood. And then episode 4 is Too Close to Home. So in regards to episode 1, as I said, we already knew it was called Closer. I don't think I've really discussed it properly. I think I just might have mentioned it in a video whenever it was, 2 months ago or something quickly. But we know that Clark and Lois are closer now, and that because we got this synopsis for this season, which pretty much says they're closer. But it's also due to the events of last season, but then as a synopsis does say, them working together again this season in the whole journalism industry at the Gazette and everything like that. So this could be that could be the meaning for the episode title, maybe just the Kent family as a whole being a bit closer. But as we usually do get sometimes with these titles, there is possibly a double meaning behind the title. Maybe there is a hint here that something is getting closer to them, as in getting closer to Smallville, getting closer to them as a family in a more nefarious way. Who knows? But there tends to be double meanings with a lot of these titles, especially Superman and Lois. So it wouldn't surprise me that something like Closer, which can be comforting, could also be very ominous and a bit of a warning. Ooh, we're getting closer with a knife, we might stab you. So maybe that's what it's hinting at there. Episode 2, Uncontrollable Forces. I mean, I don't really have too much to really put into this one. Could mean anything. It could, I just don't get anything from this. I don't really get anything from this. If you have any thoughts in regards to this episode title and what it could mean, let me know in the comment section down below. Uncontrollable Forces just seems like out of your control. That's pretty much what it is. So maybe it's something that Superman just can't deal with, and it's something that he's gonna gonna have to retreat back on before jumping into again. I'm not 100% sure. That's a wait and see. Episode 3, In Cold Blood. Now, pretty much In Cold Blood means without mercy. That's pretty much what it means. Now, this ties into something, once again, from the synopsis for this season that we got not too long ago, where it describes the villain for the season, which I'd assume is Bruno Mannheim, as being merciless or, without mercy. And usually when you say In Cold Blood, it's preceded by murdered, like murdered in cold blood, murdered without mercy, everything like that. So does Bruno Mannheim maybe kill someone or maybe even multiple people in this episode? Or maybe maybe it happens at the end of episode 2 and it's like sort of the cliffhanger leading into this episode and the events of the story revolving around that. Or does he just do something to a group of people or just one specific person, like an important person on the show, not killing them, but just in a ruthless manner, like just something that's just like without care, it's like, oh, screw you, I'm just going to do this because I can. So I think this is going to be I'd like to think this would be Bruno Mannheim's full-on entry into this season. Like I think we'll probably see him in maybe episode 1 or 2, but I don't know if you remember, like a lot of these comic book shows, they'll have that episode where the villain sort of makes themselves clear and just says, "I'm here, I'm the villain right now. Look at what I can do." Even if you look at like Arrowverse stuff before, when like Zoom did stuff, Prometheus, for example, you see like a villain make a statement, and I wonder if this is the episode where Bruno Mannheim makes his statement. Now, whether it's killing someone or not, that's another question. The in cold blood makes you think that, but you could just be, cold-blooded, like they just have no feelings, don't really care. So that's what we could see there, and it's making it clear what type of person Bruno Mannheim is, and that like that Lois and Superman or Lois and Clark aren't going to be able to get through to him with words. It's going to have to be through some more, well, maybe in their eyes, ruthless execution as well. Don't kill him, but throw his ass in jail and don't be polite with it. And then episode 4 is called Too Close to Home. This might actually tap into something we'll talk about in a second or a bit after, but then again, it could once again be a double meaning. It could be a double meaning. It actually might refer to 2 things we're going to talk about, which is actually pretty interesting, which will bring both up back to back. But as I said, let me know if there's any sort of difference of opinion that you have in regards to those episode titles and what they mean. But let's just jump into another piece of news, which ties maybe to that episode 4 title of Too Close to Home. And we have confirmation that John Henry Irons' sister has been cast for season 3 and will be played by Angel Parker. Now, she's been seen out and about with some of the cast members, including Willow Parks, who plays John Henry. Now, of course, the John Henry that we have known since season 1, the one from the other Earth, was seeking her out in season 1. Remember, he was watching her from a distance, but that was never really followed up with because it wasn't really needed for that story. But considering this season will delve into the Earth that we're currently on's John Henry Irons and the circumstances around his death, who's connected to it and all that, it makes sense that she does play into the story. Now, I think she's a doctor. I think she's called Dr. Irons. That's like the actual, I think that was what was written on her trailer, Dr. Irons. I don't know did they say what her first name was in season 1? They probably did. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But I think it said Dr. Irons on her trailer. But it's been confirmed that she's the sister. Now, the one thing I'm curious about is whether this is both present day, so the other Earth's John Henry Irons seeking out and talking to, the other Earth's John Henry Irons' sister, but also flashbacks. So we'll get to see Willow Parks play the other version of John Henry Irons, the one that's dead. I would be surprised if we didn't get that, to be completely honest. Maybe not like a series of them throughout multiple episodes, maybe like one episode where they focus in on flashbacks and maybe like some stuff that led to this John Henry Irons being killed, because it's meant to be connected to Intergang and Bruno Mannheim. So I'm very interested to see how that plays out, and maybe this is what connects to that episode 4 title of Too Close to Home. Maybe that's what's going on there, because maybe the John Henry Irons from the other Earth still had like a sister as well. Maybe she died on his Earth, but she's still alive here. We'll have to see some different connections, but maybe that plays into that episode 4 title of Too Close to Home. But then also that episode 4 title could also play into the next thing we wanted to talk about, and that is the lack of set photo. I know this is a weird way to go into it, but there has been a lack of set photos for Superman and Lois, which has usually been the case for the past 2 seasons. But a lot of people presumed, including myself, that we'd be in Metropolis a bit more because of Bruno Mannheim and Intergang, but that hasn't been the case. So does that lack of set photos mean there's not much Metropolis in this season? I mean, we got stuff for episode 1, but that was about it. So it makes you wonder, does that mean Bruno Mannheim's going to Smallville? Now, that's a concern I had, because I just thought, it gets to a point where you just sort of roll your eyes where you're like, every villain just decides to go to Smallville. Now, that might not be the case. It's just that when they are filming, it's just done in other areas. Like, I know they did a scene where they filmed on a rooftop in Vancouver in the city, but I don't know what episode that was for. I don't know if that was still for episode 1 or that was for like episode 2 or 3. It was a while ago, like towards the beginning of the season, so I'm not too sure about that as well. So I hope there's more Metropolis scenes. Just because I just don't like the idea of like, oh, just conveniently all the villains go to Smallville, or it just always takes place in Smallville. It just limits the show, and I think one of the things that a lot of people thought is that disconnecting itself from the Arrowverse last season would expand the show as to what it could do and where it could go. So hopefully that's not the case, but that's what maybe episode 4's title could be referring to as well. Bruno Mannheim makes his way to Smallville and he's too close to home. That could be the reference there. Now, as I said, I think on one of my most recent Flash videos, all the shows have gone on their Christmas break, as you would expect. I think it was on the 17th or 18th or something like that, they went away. Now, I'm not sure when they exactly go back to filming, but I think with Superman and Lois, it won't really matter too much in the context of when more promo stuff and other things like that do decide to come out, just because we're still a decent distance away from it coming out, premiering. It's more for a show like The Flash, where that return to filming date might coincide with more stuff coming out, because by that point, it will probably only be like about a month before the show comes back. But then again, if Superman and Lois does start to film more stuff in a Metropolis setting, as in like downtown Vancouver, where you can get set photos, then maybe the return date to filming matters, but that's a wait and see. Now, one question, just to finish off the video, because I thought I'd mention it here while we have time. A lot of people have been bringing up the release date of March, and that it's usually around the time they start announcing renewals for new seasons. Like you get renewals in March sometimes. Is that a worrying sign for Superman and Lois season 3 heading into a potential season 4? Now, I wouldn't say it's too much of a concern just for that date. I mean, renewals can be as late as May and June, and by that point, the Superman and Lois will be almost done with its 3rd season, so we'd know what's happening there. It's like when you head into July or something like that with no news, where things should start to be a worry. But I think we'll know what's happening with the show by like May or like 1st week or 2nd week or June or something like that. Like before the season ends. Like they'll obviously announce whether the show's ending or it's getting renewed before the finale for season 3. So obviously this isn't confirmation as to whether it's getting renewed or it's getting cancelled, but it's just, you should learn before the finale actually airs. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions about all the stuff we went over. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.